No, definitely. There are disaffections within the military, but whether those disaffections have, metastasized to a point where they would, allow or encourage officers who have sworn to protect the Constitution to now do contrary, is what we are not sure. There are so many elements that come to play before a coup occurs. There is usually, a sponsor. In most instances, there are foreign, countries or individuals or interests that will be involved. So it's not just that grievance. There will be so many other components.
Well, politics will always be politics, and people who want to play around with, who want to politicize security will be in a very unfortunate situation, because security is responsibility of every one of us, and Nigeria has to be secured before anybody can lead. Leadership will come in only when the country is secured. So I don't think it is an area where anybody is interested in politicizing it.
Mr. President acted within the letters of Nigerian Constitution, and also in line with the tradition of the armed forces of the periphery of Nigeria.
I must confess this. This is about the most, professional handling I've seen of crisis in Nigeria. And you must give it to the military. The way this has been handled, I don't think you want them to come out and say there's a coup d'etat. And I'll explain why. Imagine the international community screaming headline, Nigeria, you should know what that would do to your investors, know what that would do to the international communities and all that. So I think it may be very, okay for them not to come out to state this, but handling this professionally.
They said it was over, that the coup story was nothing but rumor, a spark that died before it caught flame. But weeks later, Abuja woke up to another shock. Raids, arrests and interrogations, and for the first time, names were mentioned. The Punch newspaper broke it first. A managing director of a federal government agency in the South had been picked up and grilled by the military intelligence. His crime, allegedly transferring a massive sum of money to a man once considered untouchable, former Minister of State for Petroleum Resources. Investigators now claim that the funds were meant to finance an attempt to overthrow President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in one night. What was once dismissed as fake news suddenly became a national investigation. And in Abuja, whispers turned into accusations, because in the corridors of power, question was no longer was there a coup, it was who was behind it. This is the Faces Behind the Coup, a story of money, power and betrayal in the heart of Nigeria's capital. The investigation began not with soldiers but with transactions. According to intelligence sources quoted by the Punch, the detained managing director allegedly wired a huge sum to Timipre Silva, the former Bayelsa State governor, ex-minister, and key or progressive Congress figure. The money was flagged by financial monitors under the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, tracing it through multiple accounts before landing in a private channel reportedly linked to Silva's network. What was the money for? That's the big question. A legitimate business deal, or the silent funding of something darker? Investigators believe it was meant to finance what they now call a premature operation, a plan by the disaffected officers to force a change in government. One intelligence officer reportedly said, the MD transferred a huge sum to Silva. Investigators are working on the theory that the fund transfer was connected to the coup. He is presently answering questions about what the money was meant for. Then came the raid. Timipre Silva's Abuja mansion, stormed by armed military investigators. The former minister was outside the country when his younger brother, Paga Silva, was arrested alongside his driver. To the public, it looked like a routine probe, but behind closed doors, it was treated as a national security operation, because if Timipre Silva, a powerful APC insider, was truly involved, it meant that this alleged coup wasn't the work of rogue soldiers. It was something much bigger. It was political. To understand the gravity of this accusation, you must understand that the man at the center of it, Timipre Silva, savvy, a strategist, and seasoned in the rough waters of Nigerian politics, a loyalist of the old APC order, but a man who has often found himself outside of sync with Abuja's new power structure. As a minister under Buhari, he controlled one of the most powerful portfolios, petroleum resources, and wielded influence across the Niger Delta. But under Tinubu, that influence vanished. His ambition to return as governor of Bayelsa State was blocked. His political network sidelined. So, when investigators traced millions from a South-South agency to his name, the story took a dangerous shape. Sources say Silva was planning to return to Nigeria around the same time the alleged coup arrest happened. But when the news broke that the coup leaders had been picked up, he stayed back abroad. To many analysts, that decision looked suspicious, but to his allies, it was a self-preservation, a man escaping a political ambush. Because in Nigerian politics, being accused of a coup, real or not, can end a career overnight. And as of now, Timipre Silva maintained his silence. No press conference, no public statement, only whispers from those who claim he knows more than he is willing to say. Behind the arrest lies a deeper question. Why is the military taking this so personal? In early October, the defense headquarters admitted that 16 officers were under detention, but only for breaches of military regulations and indiscipline. They claimed the issue was about promotion exams and career stagnation. But unlike sources led by Sahara reporters insisted otherwise. They said the officers ranging from captains to brigadier general were in custody for plotting a coup. Now, with the arrest of civilians connected to Silva's network, that claim suddenly looks less like gossip and more like a buried truth. So, what's really happening inside Nigeria's military establishment? Some security experts believe this entire operation reflects a deep state struggle, a silent war between loyalists of former President Muhammadu Buhari and the current Tinubu-led command. The Northern Bloc still holds a significant sway within the office corps, men who rose through the ranks under Buhari's 8 years. Tinubu's rapid reshuffle, promotions and appointments have not gone unnoticed. There is resentment in some quarters. One analyst told reporters, "What we are seeing may not be a coup attempt in the traditional sense, but a power recalibration within the security elite." In other words, this might not be about overthrowing Tinubu, but about reminding him that the barracks still holds power. And now that the investigation has entered the civilian circle, touching APC insiders and oil-linked figures, many in Abuja whisper that this is no longer a military story. It is a political purge. As the days pass, questions multiply faster than answers. Why hasn't the defense headquarters named the alleged coup financiers? Why are the detainees being held incommunicado at the Defense Intelligence Agency? And why has the presidency, once quick to dismiss the story, suddenly gone quiet? Some believe the government is managing the optics, trying to prevent panic while quietly neutralizing real threats. Others think this entire episode is a smokescreen, a coordinated effort to target internal enemies under the guise of national security. Some put it bluntly, the coup story has become a tool. Whoever controls it controls the narrative, and the narrative defines who survives in Abuja. Meanwhile, the raids continue, phones seized, accounts frozen, travel bans quietly issued. But beneath the silence, the power struggles deepens between those loyal to Tinubu's new order and those who fueled a built the foundation he's now standing on. And so analysts ask, could this be a counter-coup in disguise? Not tanks on the streets, but arrest in the night. A slow, silent war, fought with fouls and not with firearms. Because in modern Nigeria, coups no longer happen with gunfire. They happen with headlines. As the investigation deepens, trust within the ruling elite begins to crack. Those once united under the APC banner now eye each other with suspicion. Old alliances fading, old secrets resurfacing, and at the center of it all, a haunting realization: was the managing director acting alone or following orders from above? Remember, this is still an allegation. Was Timothy Silva simply a scapegoat, or a symbol of something deeper? And most importantly, was there ever a coup at all? If these were truly a coup plot, then Nigeria stands at the edge of its most dangerous conspiracy in years. But if it wasn't, then it is an even darker story. A government fighting shadows, turning rumor into weapon, and loyalty into currency. In Abuja, betrayal doesn't always wear a uniform. Sometimes it wears a handshake or a smile. The whisper that once shook the city is back again. Only this time, it has a face and a name. In the end, no one knows where the story leads. Timothy Silva remains abroad and still allegedly connected to this story. His aides remain in custody, and the unnamed managing director still under interrogation. The defense headquarters offers a no comment. Aso Rock remains silent, and Nigerians, caught between disbelief and fatigue, continue to wonder what's real. Maybe there was a coup, maybe there wasn't. But what's clear is that someone tried to send a message about control, about power, about how fragile democracy becomes when the fight for survival enters the barracks and the bank accounts. They say money doesn't lie, but in Abuja, even the truth can be bought for the right price. And so the nation watches, waits, and whispers once more, who are the real faces behind the coup? You just watched the face behind the coup: money, power, and betrayal in Abuja. Do you believe this was a reattempt to topple the government, or a political purge disguised as a coup plot? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.